Greetings, and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. It's a real talk night. Kicking off things. The sound of Bungie Garland. Track called Carnival Tabanka. I say big ups to everybody locked in right now, those from near, those from far. Much love to the massive on TuneIn Radio. The night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. Blessings to those hailing from across the pond. One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. Much love to King Genius and Queen Genius. Blessings to those who are locked in out of New Jersey. Where they're getting nicer out there. Massive on NIE Radio. With my brother from another mother, the motivator. Blessings to you. Everybody let me see your candles. Come now and let me see your candles. Remember you can catch the motivator. I'm the jumping on the road we try. Thursday night to Double Trouble Thursday. Motivation Saturdays. I'm the jumping with him on the road. I'll call him behind the road. When the girl them up on the road. Also hailing out of New Jersey. I want to say big ups to those locked in on mix102.com. And their sister station in Jamaica, Earth 96 FM. Much love, Symbol. I appreciate love all the work you put in. Blessings to those on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Mr. Lindsay is a veteran in the business. Much love, much respect, sir. Those locked in on YouTube Live. Blessings to you. The massive bubbling on Zeno FM in the stew pot. Truly, I appreciate love you. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele, kevinsteele.com. Good Lord, everybody let me see. Invite you to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Call somebody, anybody, everybody. Let me see you clap those hands. It's time for the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. Clap those hands. I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how it Lord. Tell you how I want to take this moment and say thank you to my segment sponsors. Thank you to OJLDF.net, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation. Truly appreciate all the effort, all the support. And OJLDF is committed to protecting justice and equality for everyone, especially individuals who have been wrongfully accused, marginalized, or deprived of fair legal representation. They believe every person deserves the opportunity to defend their rights regardless of their financial circumstances. And so they are there to help wherever they can. So check them out, OJLDF.net. See how you can get involved. On this past Saturday, there was a donation drive to assist someone in the diaspora who was in dire straits, needed some financial help, and there was a full day online drive for donations. So see how you can get involved with OJLDF and what you can do to help someone. Just hit the donate button and you go on the website and say, hey, I need my donation to go this place, whether it is to Melissa Relief or it is to assisting someone in the diaspora or even legal fees. So, or if you just want to support the organization, go ahead and do so. Alright? Thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. So if you know someone that is in one of those areas, you're visiting one of those areas, you need a massage, you can't make it to a massage parlor, you want someone to come to you, 954-655-9000 is the number to call. 954-655-9000. Schedule your appointment with Althea today. She only has one request outside of paying her to get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew clause. And when you get on her table and she starts, you'll understand why. I want to say thank you to Global Digital. Global Digital navigates your journey across music, event marketing, and more. It's a realm where their social spheres awaken through their mastery. So go ahead and embrace the invitation to liberate your creativity unbounded and free. Just like their consultation. Free. The Global Base is your catalyst for everything related to music production, radio, and event promotion. Connect with them today. Visit the website globalbase.com. That's DAGlobalBASE.com. I want to say thank you to McNeil Trucking. McNeil Trucking is a veteran-owned, licensed and insured mover in the state of Florida. So if you're in the Keys and want to move to Jacksonville, Naples, looking to go to Palm Beach, Pompano, to Pensacola, and all points in between. You want to move some things into storage around the corner, down the road by a friend or neighbor. You have the manpower, you have the transportation, don't worry, you have the name, you have the number. McNeil Trucking. They'll go as far as to move you out of the state or into the state of Florida. Call them up today. 954-406-9740. That's 954-406-9740. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. They'll be glad to know. Greetings, Missy Bram Bram. Hey, darling Nikki. Good to see you guys nice and early. Now, if you all were listening to the words of this song, you hear him talking about seeing something, hearing something, and it just puts him in a state of carnival vibes, because carnival is over and he's pining for it. And so a few things happening around and it triggers a memory and he's taken back to a place. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at tonight. Triggers. And so, have you ever had that situation where you're going along just fine and you smell something, you hear something, you see something, and all of a sudden everything changes for you? your mood changes, your attitude changes. It just wasn't the same like it was before the incident happened. Or, here's a prime example, and people that live in the southern United States have the experience all the time. There's a hurricane warning. Gas stations get full. The water and bread and canned goods missing from the shelves in the supermarkets. It's not like you don't buy these things all the time. It's just that you hear that a disaster is upon us, and you remember that time when it came and you didn't have that thing. And ever since, every time you hear the news of something coming, boom, you make sure you have that thing or those things. It's kind of like that. And so, we're going to be talking about triggers tonight. Do you have any triggers? Can you, if you were to write on a piece of paper right now or make a note on a personal device about something that triggers you, could you do it? Or do you have any triggers? According to Very Well Mind, triggers refer to the experience of having an emotional reaction to a disturbing topic, like violence on or the mention of suicide. In the media or a social setting, these things can happen and suddenly you're taken back to a place. But there's a difference between being triggered and being uncomfortable. And sometimes people mix up the two. Being triggered means you experience a strong negative emotion or emotional reaction, I should say, in response to a current situation that is disturbing to you in some way. For individuals with a history of trauma or abuse, triggers are often stimuli that bring up involuntary memories of their traumatic past experiences. And this is according to Amy Mazulis, PhD, the co-founder of and chief clinical officer of June. That's JOON. Now, feeling triggered isn't just about something rubbing you the wrong way. For someone with a history of trauma, being around anything that reminds them of a traumatic experience can make them feel like they're experiencing the trauma all over again. However, Mesolus notes that even people without a history of trauma can be triggered when something elicits a strong emotional reaction. So, let's say you don't have any trauma that you can think of. But every time there's this thing, the stimulus, you get triggered. Yeah. You start thinking about it now, right? The term trigger often refer to experiences of people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. But it also applies to other mental health conditions. Those include substance abuse disorders, eating disorders, and anxiety. Now, a trigger can be an issue or that activates or aggravates symptoms of an existing mental health condition, according to John McGeehan, who is founder and CEO at the Dorm. Now, the Dorm provides intensive trauma therapy for young adults. And Dr. John says, you can call him Dr. John, You remember Trapper John MD? Yeah. A person with a substance use disorder might experience cravings and thoughts of drinking when walking by a bar or smelling alcohol. And in such cases, a trigger can prompt an increase in or return of symptoms, potentially causing cravings or even relapse. Do you have any triggers? Now, triggers can vary significantly from person to person and may be internal or external. And we're going to look at some events that can act as triggers. For internal triggers, they originate within a person and can include memories, physical sensations, or emotions. Like if your heart starts pounding during exercise, it might remind you of a past trauma, like running from an abusive partner. And common internal triggers can include anger, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, vulnerable, abandoned, or out of control, loneliness, muscle tension, memories of traumatic events, pain, and sadness. These are some common internal triggers. External triggers originate in a person's environment and can include people, places, or specific situations. What seems normal or minor to some might be triggering for someone facing mental health challenges. For instance, people with trauma may be triggered by a movie, TV show, news article reminiscent of their past experience, a person linked to the experience, arguments with friends, spouses, or partners, certain times of the day, sounds that evoke the experience, changes in relationships or breakups, significant dates like holiday or anniversaries, visiting a location associated with the experience, and smells like smoke. Those are some of your external triggers. As whenever April rolls around, there are a few things that come to mind for me. My mother's birthday is in April. It comes up on the 21st of April. But also on the 16th of April, my cousin's daughter, so my little cousin, transitioned on this day. And that was just a few years ago. Yeah, it wasn't her time yet, but it was her time. This year is 5 years. Wow. Time flies. And so April brings those memories. Is there a particular month that brings or evokes a memory for you? It triggers a thought. And I'm using stimulating an emotion interchangeably with stimulating a trauma, a past trauma. But the majority of the focus would be on the traumas. as we go through this information tonight. Now, mental health professionals don't yet precisely know how triggers form. People have been triggered forever, but mental health professionals don't quite yet know. They can't say, hey, it's this, and you run with it. Some researchers believe that the brain stores memories from a traumatic event differently from memories of a non-traumatic event. And when triggered, the brain might interpret the past traumatic events as current. And this causes the body to experience symptoms as it did in response to the original trauma. In the case of fight or flight responses. Now, a trigger can cause an emotional reaction before a person realizes why they have become upset. And often, triggers have a very strong sensory connection. Sight, sound, taste, smell. These are all linked in some way to a deeply ingrained habit. For example, a person recovering from alcohol use might associate a particular activity with drinking. Boom, they're right back there. Certain factors can increase a person's risk of developing a trigger, according to McGeehan. And he says factors can include the period of emotional development when the trauma occurred, the duration of intensity of the traumatic experience, the characteristics of the event, including how extreme it was, being psychologically, physically, and emotionally harmed, individual characteristics including personality traits and socio-cultural history, emotions experienced during and after the trauma, including fear, hopelessness, and shame, and how much social support a person has before, during, and after the trauma, and certain underlying mental health conditions like substance use disorder, depression, anxiety. These might make someone more prone to experiencing a more severe trigger or a more severe reaction to a trigger. Now, whether trigger warnings are helpful or harmful is really a subject of debate. This question is particularly relevant in college classrooms. Some use trigger warnings to give students time to physically or mentally prepare for potentially distressing subject matters, such as physical or sexual violence. And trigger warnings are used in other settings too, like in media. But proponents of trigger warnings say they give a person a chance to prepare for the potential trigger, or in some cases, avoid that trigger. Given that a trigger tends to be more distressing if it comes as a surprise, a warning can help someone with PTSD or other mental health conditions feel safe. So you get my heads up. Listen, what we're going to be talking about might trigger you. What you're going to experience right now might trigger. What you're going to hear, see, smell. Now, others say trigger warnings can reinforce avoidance behaviors, which might only exacerbate PTSD in the long term. Instead, they argue that the emotions that arise from triggers should be appropriately dealt with in therapy, particularly if the feelings and resulting behaviors interfere with daily life. Now, these warnings also might cause confusion about the true meaning of being triggered, potentially contributing to a negative or harmful perception that people with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or other conditions are fragile and overly sensitive. And so the whole idea of a trigger warning to this particular group says, hey, let's not do that. Because then we're encouraging a behavior that is not helpful to the individual that could potentially be triggered. So both arguments seem plausible. The question is, what works for you? Are there ways that people could potentially cope with triggers? Well, we're going to find out in a moment. And as we take a pause, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to pause for a minute. I invite you to, if you haven't done so yet, call a friend, tell a friend. Friend of a friend, friend of an enemy, enemy of a friend, enemy. Call somebody. Let's talk triggers. And I want you to know that the phone line is also open. 773-789 Stu gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram, and they all bring you into the broadcast live and in living color. And you can share. You can share your experience of being triggered. You can share your experience of triggering. Because sometimes we are the trigger for someone else. Something we did, something we, a fragrance we wore, something we said. And so we have to be mindful of others and their experiences too. Yeah? But we're going to take a quick little break. I just want to give you that quick bit of information because why? It's important. Yeah? Important to know that here you have an option. You have a means of communication with the host, me, directly. Sometimes it's useful. What is also useful is the audiobook, Empowered. Essential concepts and strategies every woman should know about self-defense. This book, and there is a paperback edition, authored by Jonathan Field, was narrated by yours truly. And I learned a lot from narrating this book. You can learn a lot from listening to it. It can be very helpful. Get your order today. Get one for yourself, get one for a friend or a family member. Go to Audible. If you can't find it on Audible or you have difficulty getting to Audible, just go to kevinstew.com and click on the picture of the book cover. It takes you to exactly where you need to be to get your copy of Empowered, Essential Concepts and Strategies Every Woman Should Know About Self-Defense.
On October 28th, Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, turned her wrath upon her homeland, Jamaica. In the aftermath, thousands of homes were destroyed, lives, pets, and livestock were lost, and dreams and hopes dashed. Resilient as we Jamaicans are known to be, our brothers and sisters on the island need our help now. To this end, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, OJLDF, has launched its official fundraiser. Please donate generously at ojldf.net. We are depending on each and every one of you to get the most needed supplies to our people at home. Go to ojldf.net. That's ojldf.net and hit the donate button today. Thank you.
Fire rub for all joint pain, poor circulation, inflammation, and other aches and pain. Rub it on, the pain is gone. Rub it twice, then you feel nice. Miracle Fire. Get your Miracle Fire rub for all joint pain, poor circulation, inflammation, and other aches and pain. Rub it on, the pain is gone. Rub it twice, then you feel nice. Miracle Fire rub is all natural, all herbal with no side effects. Order yours today. 876-808-5903 or call 876-372-1366. Miracle Fire rub. Rub it on, pain is gone. Rub it twice, then you feel nice.
Imagine having our own Caribbean Center.
Imagine a museum highlighting our history and the contributions of Caribbean people to the world.
Imagine being able to visit and learn about the islands we call home.
In a place where our kids can see and feel their cultural heritage.
Your contribution to Island Space Caribbean Museum will help this dream come true.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe
and donate today.
Celebrate reggae and world music's biggest night of honor, the 43rd Annual International Reggae and World Music Awards, ARAMA, featuring and honoring the best of reggae and world music entertainers. Include the legendary Burning Spear with the Lifetime Master of Reggae and World Music Cultural Honor, Sunday, May 17th, 2026, at the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center, Lauderhill, Florida. Red carpet arrival with glitz, glamour, camera, and action at 6 p.m. Seats are limited. Fans are voting and getting early VIP tickets and hotel package at www.arama.com. Sponsored by Broward County, Florida Cultural Division, VP Records, Reggae Festival Guide, and this station and others. Powered by Martins International, bringing nations together through music and culture. 8779 Reggae.
Hi, this is Cara Manti, and you're listening to DJ Kevin Stew, and this is The Night Shift.
It's been a long time coming. Are you ever gonna change? Are you ever gonna to take advice for how I'm feeling? It's been a long time running, and I know you wanna stay. So I think that it is time we live like we used to. Right all around the city, singing with the top down. Let's take it back to when we were younger. It's been a long time coming, so put on a happy face. Grab my hand so we can let all of our troubles out. There's no care tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when the stars never will align. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy. Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Baby, don't you worry, 'cause you know I understand what it's like to be chewed up and spit out in the cold world. Baby, there's no hurry, as long as you take my hand. We can dance and I won't be the one to let you go. There's no care tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when the stars never will align. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy. Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's no care tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when the stars never will align. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy. Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you.
Music from Royce bringing us back from the break.
In the madness with you.
The track is called Madness. And sometimes that's how some people see it, as madness when people are triggered. But it's not madness. Quick PSA. Do remember, those of you in the United States, today is tax deadline day. So if you're paying your taxes or you have your taxes to do, you still have a little bit over an hour to get it done. I made sure to take care of mine. Please take care of yours. And if you don't think you're gonna get it done in time, go ahead and do your file for an extension. Triggers. And here we go. We're talking about triggers. Coming up to tax deadline might trigger some people. Yep. Because they may have had a harrowing experience at that time. It's a date. And it's a date that can trigger the memory of an event. Does it work for you? Sometimes trying to avoid a triggering situation is reasonable. However, if avoidance hinders your ability to function, then you might want to get some help. And so let's look at some ways to cope with triggers. Because it doesn't really make sense that there is something that is going to happen to us and it happens over and over again, but we don't take steps to find a way to deal with it or to effectively deal with it. So learning how to cope with triggers, according to Very Well Mind, can help could potentially help emotionally when dealing with something that is triggering you. So here are a few effective, healthy coping strategies for lessening the impact of triggers. There is calling on your social support. Whomever or however many people that may be. Deep breathing, exercising, expressive writing, keeping a journal, mindfulness meditation. McGeehan points to a 2013 review of more than 200 studies that found mindfulness-based therapy effectively reduces anxiety, depression, and stress. So if this is something that is new to you, you might want to go ahead and dive into it a little bit more. Empower yourself by preparing to cope with triggers. Learn to recognize physical signs of reacting to a trigger, such as changes in your breathing, so that you can employ strategies to calm yourself and shift your emotional state. Your goal, this should be to detach yourself from the trigger, recenter, and focus on your coping strategy. Individual coping skills are important. There's also another mechanism, your social and community support. And this, according to McGeehan, is also important. In fact, could be labeled as critical in aiding to cope with these triggers. You know, well, at some point you will know, if you don't already know, that a trigger is something you want to address with professional support when you start to avoid certain situations and your daily life is negatively impacted by everyday stimuli. If you are self-isolating because you don't want to risk coming across the triggers of everyday social dynamics, sounds, scents, or other stimuli, it may be time to seek some professional help. There is nothing wrong with getting therapy. I don't know how much I can emphasize it. It is something that in my Jamaican community where I grew up, and I'm speaking about Jamaica on a whole, therapy is not something that you would really go about looking for back then. Now, it has become kind of trendy. And so people have been okay with hearing about someone getting therapy. People have been okay with the idea of going to go get therapy themselves. I recommend it. I was in therapy myself. I had put myself in therapy a few years ago because I really wanted to get in touch with who I am, and I wanted to get to a place where I was more understanding of some of this information that I'm bringing to you. And so therapy helped me to recognize certain things about myself, to recognize certain things about people that I'm dealing with and environmental situations. So it can help. It definitely can help, but you have to be open to it. You don't just go to therapy and say, this is the magic bullet, it is going to fix me, it is going to help me, it is going to... No. You help you. You fix you. Therapy just helps you to get there. Some of you might have heard me mention the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. And they had put out something about understanding mental illness triggers. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Greetings, Merle, to the world. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Now, as it relates to triggers, sometimes referred to as a stressor in an action or situation that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction. In the context of mental illness, referring to triggers usually means something that has brought on or worsened some symptoms. In the ongoing dialogue about mental health, there isn't enough talk about triggers. Most often, the discussion focuses on what happens after a person has been triggered, which is when the situation is much harder to address. Understanding, identifying, and working to prevent triggers can be more empowering and effective. Triggers are individualized experiences that vary widely from person to person. Example: a trigger may elicit a physical reaction such as heavy breathing or sweating. A trigger can also spur an emotional reaction like thinking, I am being attacked, blamed, or controlled, disrespected, hurt, and judged. After experiencing a trigger, a person may feel overwhelmed, powerless, scared, unloved, or weak, or maybe all of the above. And there are some other feelings that I might express too. These feelings can be very difficult to address and quite detrimental to mental health. A person's behaviors based on their emotional reaction can range from relatively minimal to serious, such as acts of violence. Somebody could become violent because they're triggered. Someone exposed to a trigger while symptomatic may be more vulnerable, and the emotional reaction may be even stronger. Additionally, a trigger can impair judgment, and some people may lack insight about their reactions. It's important not to assume that you understand the emotional response of someone who has been triggered, or suggest that someone who has been triggered is overacting. Being too sensitive or too irrational are some of the other positions that people can take observing someone who's being triggered. And this is even if the trigger may seem insignificant. It may be insignificant to you, but you are not living this person's experience. And so you need to be mindful of other people going through something. Many different types of stimuli can be possible triggers, and they're often strongly influenced by past experiences. There are people who talk about their experiences as they live with mental illness, and how there are a number of triggers that could make them symptomatic. And these triggers have led to extreme discomfort. And I can just imagine how uncomfortable these individuals, their family members might be. Because they're in the situation and they don't know what to do. They might not even know what it was that triggered this reaction. There's some external triggers. Things like the thought or the news of war. And we can't seem to get away from that right now because we're in the midst of that happening all around us. Now consider the person who has been to war. Consider their experience as they hear of something else happening. They hear certain commands. They hear certain bits of news, and it takes them back to a place where they'd rather not be. Those are triggers. And so it's important to be mindful of the other person. Interestingly enough, and I know there are a number of parents that listen to this broadcast, whether live or catch the rebroadcast, they pull it up on YouTube and listen to the broadcast. Then parents, you ever thought about how you may trigger your children? And even if your children are adults, you can trigger your child. Now, you might say, but wait, my child has lived an okay life. Well, have they really? Parents may hesitate to respond to an adult child who comes to them with a difficult issue or inadvertently drive them away with hasty answers. And knowing how these conversations go wrong, starting with some ways we're going to look at right now that parents can trigger anger or resentment, knowing these ways can help and can go a long way toward improving a connection. I would say there's more of an emphasis on paying attention to these triggers because you're talking about adult children. With minor children, at least they're they're with you most of the time. And so you can have a moment where you can address that later on. Your adult child may not live with you. Your adult child can leave wherever you are and go somewhere else without your permission. And they can choose to not be in your presence anytime soon or even talk with you. So, what are some of these words, these parents' words that can trigger adult children? Well, sometimes it's not just a one word. Sometimes it is a little bit of unsolicited advice. When an adult child approaches a parent with a problem, the parent may immediately jump into solution mode. I know I am guilty of this. And because I know I'm guilty of it, I tend to be more intentional in my interactions. While some adult children may find this helpful, others consider it premature. They want to feel understood and validated before or instead of being given advice. Adult children may often tell or say that they wish their parents would let them would meet their therapist, or they wish their adult parent would meet them where they are in their current situation, or have their therapist explain it to them if they have a therapist, and to be more empathetic. They want to hear that sounds like a hard day, or I have total confidence that you can handle this. It is important that parents remember that it's okay to tell parents, hey, I'm just venting right now, or I'm just looking for reassurance, not advice. Your adult child may need to know how to express this because they don't. Or if they express it, you need to pay attention to that, exactly just that. They need to be validated. They just need to vent. They don't need anything from you. They trust you that you're a safe space and they can deal with the situation with you. But that unsolicited advice, that just may trigger them. Parents could also avoid triggering by asking their child what they're looking for at that moment. Let me tell you something. Asking someone what it is that they're expecting of you in a particular situation is the most life-altering thing that I have learned as an adult. And I can say I don't do it enough. It's not that I don't know it. I can say I don't do it enough. And in our conversations, I don't believe many of us have that tool readily available because it's just not what we do. But moving forward, let's challenge each other. Yeah, because I'm part of this too. So those of you who are listening and those who listen to this broadcast that already have a connection with me, yeah, cool. Maintain it and make sure you do your part to hold me accountable. Because if you can walk on the road and meet someone and say, hey, I want you to listen to my friend. The moment you call me your friend, there are certain things that you should be doing. And as of now, this is one of them. Ask your adult child, ask your adult friend, ask the person that is coming to you with a situation. What is it? How can I help you in this moment? What is it that you're looking for? And if they start looking at you crazy, just go ahead and explain to them, hey, listen, I just need to know what it is that you need from me so that I can be the best version of myself for you. That right there is how we change relationships. That right there is how we change communities and how we operate in a communal space. Hey Sharon, where's my cuz? How you doing? I mentioned you earlier before you I don't know if you were listening or you just popped in. Just as I'm talking about triggers, what April 16 is as it relates to our family, to you even. And so, you know, it's all a part of understanding what triggers are and what triggers might be. And dates can be a trigger. We're going to take another quick little break right now. When we come back, we're going to go through a few more of these ways that parents' words can trigger adult children. Yeah, man, we trigger those two, you know. And when we go through this list, you might even look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm guilty of this. I need to stop. We'll be right back.
Global Digital Records, your gateway to the world stage. Music production to music rights and royalty administration. An exclusive radio promotion through the Global Digital Radio Syndicate. We don't just play your music, we position it. Broadcasting across multiple stations, reaching audiences worldwide. Contact globaldigitalrecords.com or call 954-998-8034, where your music meets the world.
Well, here it is. The Foundation Radio Network app is now available for Android and iPhones for free. Yes, you heard correctly. Just go to your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store and download the Foundation Radio Network. Big people music with the young in mind. Now you can carry the Foundation Radio Network around with you wherever you go without ever missing a beat. Listen to Clinton Lindsay Mondays through Fridays, 12 noon till 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tony Ryan Monday through Thursdays at 5 p.m. Marlon Burrell Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Kevin Stew Mondays through Wednesday at 10 p.m. And T-Rob Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Check out Reason with Rattigan Saturdays at 3 p.m. Homegrown with G. Cole Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Hillsman comes to you Sundays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. and Brother Mitch Mondays through Fridays at 7 a.m. And check out the Foundation Radio Network Top 30 Countdowns on Fridays at 2 p.m. And don't forget to subscribe to Clinton Lindsay's YouTube channel at Clinton Lindsay Official. And cut. What are you doing, dude? You tell me somebody can direct the team. I did not. Foundation! People just get the app.
It's reggae and world music's biggest night of honor, the 43rd Annual International Reggae and World Music Awards IRAMA, featuring and honoring the best of entertainers 2025 at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts, South Florida, Sunday, May 17th, 2026, with a celebrity red carpet arrival at 6 p.m. The nominations are in. Vote, secure early tickets, become a sponsor or more at www.irama.com or www.thecentercs.com. Sponsored by Tough Gong International, VP Records, Reggae Festival Guide, Elite Chauffeurs Florida, and Rhythm FM. Powered by Martins International, bringing nations together through music and culture.
Hey Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
How high can you jump?
But you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin's Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Stew believing, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christine. Just heart it up loud.
Hola, Chico.
La da 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 da. Yeah.
Prometiste.
La 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 la.
Algo romántico.
She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that. She said,
somos tú y yo.
She showed me a picture of an old couple, say how we that. She said I love
Dando en el porche.
She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that.
Relájate.
She said you gotta take it cool. She showed me a picture of an old couple, say how we that.
Te tengo, me tienes.
Well, here I go again. Yeah, I don't know if I can still pretend,
¿Qué quieres decir?
girl, that you and I, that we are only friends. We done crossed the line, time and time again.
¿Quieres parar entonces?
Every time you smile and stare into my eyes, I'm thinking, is it them or you I'm telling lies? I don't know what we should do. I'll leave it up to you. She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that.
Vamos, Chico.
She said you gotta take it cool.
Just cool.
She showed me a picture of an old couple, say, are we that? She said our love can make it through. She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that.
Chico,
She
necesitas.
said you gotta take it cool. She showed me a picture of an old couple, say, are we that? She said our love can make it through. Yeah, I'm so lucky, like I've got a call to leave. Yeah, when you're not here, your love still cover me.
Espero que lo sepas.
What can I do to make sure you don't hurt? Is it crazy thinking this might work?
Tal vez, mi amor.
We've been playing games too long. It's amazing no one sees what's going on. I don't know what to do. I'll leave it up to you. She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that.
Relájate.
She
Somos tú
said
y
you
yo.
gotta take it cool. She showed me a picture of an old couple, say, are we that? She said our love can make it through. She wrote me a thing and say, yo, Chico, you need that.
Relájate, no
She
seas tan
said you
tenso.
gotta take it cool.
Music from G. Cole.
She showed me a picture of an old couple, say, are we that?
Track called She Said.
Said our
Me
love
tienes.
can make it through.
I know Merle likes this one. Anything G. Cole.
Say, yo, Chico, you.
Merle is good.
She said you gotta take it cool.
For those of you just joining us, welcome to the night shift to DJ Kevin Stewart Real Talk Night. And tonight we're talking about triggers. Do you have any? You know what triggers you? Have you triggered someone? Yeah, we're not leaving ourselves out of this one. Now we're looking at real quickly some ways that we trigger our adult children. Some words that we can say to trigger our adult children. What we looked at so far is unsolicited advice. Next up on this list is reminders to be grateful. Now, when presented with an adult child's issue, parents may try to help them to help them to see the bright side and find gratitude even in adversity. I think this one they probably pulled from some Jamaican parents, I don't know. This typically backfires, and here's why. Gratitude can be an excellent tool when a person finds it for themselves, but it can feel dismissive when it's mandated by someone else. It can seem as if the parent is telling them not to feel how they feel, or that their problems don't justify negative feelings. It sends a message that the parent is not comfortable with their child's negative feelings and would prefer them to skip straight to the feeling of being better. Forget that. Go straight to better. But instead, parents could simply listen actively to what their child is relating without interruption, even if it doesn't feel positive. I don't think I can emphasize enough that as much as we do this, we should do this with our adult children. We can apply that same philosophy with our adult friends. Jealous comments. Some parents envy children who have achieved greater financial success than they have, or who have had fewer struggles growing up. In that dynamic, a parent may tell their child that it must be nice to have such cushy problems. Now, this sends a message that the child is not entitled to their pain, when we know, or we should know, that anyone can suffer at any time. Parents can avoid this alienating response by noticing their own feelings before they speak, so that their child never has to say, "You make it really hard to share with you." Sometimes. Now, I don't know how many of us have adult children, but I don't believe the words "you make it hard to share things with you." I don't think those are the words that we want to hear from them. Another thing we don't want to do is make it about the parent. It's a common dynamic. An adult child raises an issue, and instead of engaging with it, the parent makes a conversation about themselves. They talk about a similar experience they had and ignore the child's issue to focus on their own concerns. And some parents, they do this inadvertently. They don't even know that they're doing it. Some may not know any other way to relate to their child, but others are self-centered and struggle to engage about anyone other than themselves. Instead of responding with anger, an adult child can try to help the parent notice this tendency and remind them these words. Adult children, this one is for you. I need to keep this about me right now, please. Adult friends, copy and paste. Merle, you said I'm low? My signal high. So I shouldn't be low. Alright. Jokes. That's the next one. In an effort to lighten the mood, some parents turn to humor during uncomfortable situations. I turn to humor in all kinds of situations. I've gotten myself in trouble because of it. And so sometimes I have to bite my tongue and listen more than I speak. But yes, jokes. In an effort to lighten the mood, parents turn to humor. So, maybe difficult emotions make them uneasy, or they know no other way to respond to what their child is saying. Humor works wonders in many situations. Not all, and in this type of situation, it may backfire. So an adult child jokes can feel dismissive and suggest that a parent cannot or will not engage in their pain. A parent should refrain from using such humor until a situation feels thoroughly processed and the child may be ready to laugh about it. So, let's hold the humor for a little bit later on. Labeling. Now, sometimes an adult child will bring a problem to a parent and be met with an old childhood label that explains what is happening. Case in point, you've always been a procrastinator, or you've always been so quick to anger. Such labels reduce the child to caricature. And it puts them in a box that can feel difficult to escape. Instead of addressing the specifics of the problem. The parent has reflexively blamed the child for whatever it is that they're dealing with at this time. Resurfacing the label the child may have been trying to escape for years and adding to their stress. So now you're perpetuating, you're compounding the situation. And you're being more of a problem than a part of the solution. And then there's awkwardness. Some parents respond to their adult children with gestures like sitting quietly, turning away, changing the subject, or even shutting down. And this can reflect their lack of tools for meeting their child's needs. They may mean well, but they don't know how to help. Or maybe this is how they learn to address difficulties in their own life, or how their own parents responded to them, and they're taking this and using it, their copy and paste. In these situations, instead of criticizing parents, an adult child can guide them by telling them the kind of thing that they need to hear. So sometimes, because we've done such great jobs of raising children, we need to now pay attention to what these children are saying to us. Because children live what they learn, and one of their biggest teachers and greatest teachers and first teachers is their parent. So if your child telling you, hey, listen, you should listen. Because that's you. Now, shifting attention to the parent's anxiety about the issue is another one. It's the last one on this list. Some parents respond to their child's issues by becoming so overwhelmed with worry that the child has to stop and now turn their support to the parent and reassure them. Here's a child that is coming to the parent for help and have to stop and turn around and help the parent. So what going to pretty much happen here is that this child is not going to come back to this parent for any help, because you're going to put them in a situation where you're going to have to turn around and help them. And while it seems kind to express that they love their child and hate to see them suffer, such a response hijacks the conversation and communicates that they are not able to help. So, parents of adult children, take these bits of advice, apply it to your relationship with your adult child and to your adult friends. Something to note here, and this is the last thing I'm going to touch on before we go off into musical therapy. Sometimes our triggers are trying to tell us something. And it can be one of two things that a trigger is telling you. Or it could be both of these things. One, you do not feel safe. According to psychology today, that feeling might actually be a warning from your psyche to back away, draw a boundary, end a relationship. The list goes on. It might also be a feeling that does not necessarily reflect a real problem. What does that mean? We can feel unsafe sometimes when the circumstance doesn't even warrant that kind of a feeling. And at other times, not feeling safe, that's a warning. And two, second thing that your trigger might be telling you, you are not completely finished with your psychological work on the previous trauma or traumas. Now, this does not mean that you have failed in your work or that you should be doing better at this time. It means there is more work to be done. You're not through it yet. You can see the clearing, but you're still in the woods. A feeling of being unsafe can be very helpful when it comes to a warning that you are actually in an unsafe position or situation. Perhaps you are in an unsafe relationship. You are realizing that your workplace is toxic in such a way that it feels dangerous to you. Perhaps you're just walking down the street and something happens that makes you feel unsafe. We can be very grateful for this kind of trigger. For although it may remind you of a previous trauma, it's also telling you that you don't want to repeat that trauma. A feeling of being unsafe, though the circumstances are not really unsafe, is a very common kind of trigger. Something subtle or overt, even one of your own thoughts, reminds you of the previous trauma or traumas. And you feel extremely anxious, even panicked, and uncertain of what to do to eliminate the feelings or rectify the perceived situation. This is when special measures, such as breathing exercises, meditation, grounding techniques, and the use of certain apps. Yeah, because there's an app for that. That is where these things come into play. And this might also be a time to talk to a trusted person or a therapist to help you not only deal with the specific response you are having, but also to recognize and process through previous traumas. Well, not just the trauma, but their experiences too. And like we just said, you may still have psychological work to do in order to bury some of these traumas, to put it in the past, to leave it back there. But whether the trigger is telling you that you feel unsafe or that you have more work to do, or it's telling you both, these triggers are your helpful hints. They have not come to haunt you, to make you feel weak, sick, not normal. They're just trying to help you to take care of you. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. We need to take a moment to take care of ourselves. Because we might be busy taking care of other people and other things that we neglect ourselves. And so here it is, these situations might come and we don't know how to cope, we don't know how to deal, we don't know how to get past it, we don't know who to turn to. But there's always help. Whether you know them or you don't. Whether you like it or not. There's always help. And so what we want to do is we want to be mindful of where we are with our personal traumas. And we definitely want to recognize the trauma of someone else. It's important that we are present when people come to us. And we definitely, and I take that even for me, I need to recognize that when someone comes to me in a state of trauma, so they're responding to a trauma, they're triggered, they're remembering a traumatic experience, I need to be mindful to know what it is that is being required of me in that time. sometimes it is what an individual has experienced themselves. Sometimes it's what an individual heard happened. And they personalize it. Our jobs as parents of young children, adults, children, as friends, is to know how it is that that person, if they're coming to you, how it is that they're coming to you for your help. They want you to be a sounding board. They want you to give advice. They just want you to put yourself in their shoes, to be empathetic. Sometimes it's harder to do than to say. But it is something that we need to be mindful of. It's something that we need to be intentional about getting to that place. Because more and more, we have been individualistic. It's all about me. It's all about what I can do. It's all about maybe me and my child, my partner, my whomever, my best friend. It comes back to my motto. This is how I see it coming back. Have acceptance through enlightenment. It allows us to be present in that moment. Present enough to listen to what the other person is going through. Present enough to ask, hey, does this mean, for clarity, to open up the lines of communication in such a way that it is removing or addressing the trigger and bringing about peace. Because that trauma has not been fully dealt with or not been dealt with at all. Remember that we're all patients in this waiting room of life to see the great physician. Let's not make it more difficult for the people around us that are on the same journey.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent
As we jump into musical therapy,
thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face.
a little new music for you.
That's to be like I should have made you leave your key. If I had known to just
Do y'all know who this is?
be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with the bar? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die?
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong.
Yes, Missy Bram Bram, the sharp boss herself. This is Joanna Marie.
And so you're back from outer space.
edition of I Will Survive.
I should have changed that stupid lie. I should have made you leave your key. If I had known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with the bar? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, no. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. And I'll survive. I will survive. Not to fall apart. Kept trying hard to mend the pieces of my broken heart. And I spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry. But now I hold my head up high and you see me, somebody new. I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And so you felt like trouble and just expect me to be free. Well, now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with survive? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, no. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my love to live. I've got all my love to give. And I'll survive. I will survive. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with the bar? You think I'd crumble? I'd crumble. Think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, no. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. And I'll survive. And I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive.
Yes, cause yeah, we're survivors around here. We're a bunch of survivors. We're surviving every day. This experience of life. And Sharon, you especially now, especially this day, are moving into tomorrow. This is how we are here for each other. If it's even just to remind someone, hey, even if I can't physically be there, even if I don't have the tools, I am still here. And I can be here for you in as much of a capacity as I can. That's the other part of it. We need to be aware of the limitations of our friends and our friendships.
It's coming tinker, dedicated to all the people at the home bug bite. You know you can't wait to catch that homebound flight.
What they have to do tomorrow this evening or evening.
The sound of Ernest Smith working out to the Ron Machete.
You praise your God and you step out for the day.
And Ernest's son, OJ.
You slip, you slide in on the icy pathway. No mind, no mind. You write and tell them that you're doing so well. But when you check it
want y'all to know
You got to come back home.
the musical family and the biological family of Ernie Smith we're all soliciting prayers for Ernie right now
You got to come back
as he's in the hospital.
Mr. Bingy at the top of the hill.
Just say a little prayer for Ernie right now if you can. And if you're caught up in the musical therapy, just wait until we're done, yeah?
You missed.
And then you just say like a prayer.
Now foreign just feel like fraud.
It's nothing think of dedicated to all the people that the home bug bite. You know you can't wait to catch that homebound flight.
What they have to do tomorrow, this evening, or even tonight? Cause them ya living in the foreign dread, them living ya no right.
You praise your God and you step out for the day.
He's still with us, Merle.
Danger of the crowded zone.
Touch and go.
You slip, you sliding on the icy pathway. No mind,
Sometimes
no
can't even
mind.
find I can't.
You write and tell them that you're doing so well. But when you check it out, you're really catching hell.
Could I see?
You are a lion and you're born to be free. And you got to come back home. You are a lion and you're born to be free. You miss the sun, you miss the sand and the sea. You're never gonna survive in no city. You got to come back. You miss the bingy at the top of the hill. You only dream about the cottage in the grill. You are a lion and you're born to be free. You got to come back. Give it on.
Yes, the art of a lion make you miss down a yard. But life in a foreign just feel like fraud.
You work so hard 2 week holiday. You just find a juvie and you really could have stayed. If not, go see another couple days. She looks so nice. But if you're not gonna work, you're not get no pay. So true. Uncle Sam and the Revo man now play. You call the boss, say a publicity day. Him cool as ice. You are a lion and you're born to be free. You miss the sun, you miss the sand and the sea. You're never gonna survive in no city. You got to come back.
Ready now.
You miss the bingy at the top of the hill. You only dream about the cottage in the grill. You are a lion and you're born to be free. You got to come back. You gotta come back.
What do you do? Many days I up here and I can't even laugh. But we know me happy when the pilots say, ladies and gentlemen, prepare for takeoff. Can't wait to reach our Rick's Cafe if jump and chuck off. As a matter of fact, when we reach out the airport, man, smell the curry goat. Me want to stick the house when me send the money for bill. I'm a cousin in charge of the project. Me not trust him, but a family still. When foreign that shy away, they say me a plan to come home, come cool out and chill. And when they come, me a spend a couple nights and they grill.
How when me get the I'm man happy rich. Little OJ and Boston bitch. Have to spend enough time at Portland. Money to go beer and alligator pan.
You are a lion and you're born to be free. You miss the sun, you miss the sand and the sea. You're never gonna survive in no city. You got to come back.
The lion ready
You miss the bingy at the top of the hill. You only dream about the cottage in the grill. You are a lion and you're born to be free. You got to come back. You gotta come back.
You miss the pretty girl
down at the corner shop.
She used to bake for me and make me all me coat not drops. Boy, I miss her, I tell you. Well, to them in the yard, I cool out, to kick back and I relax. But tomorrow reality is I have to go back in an ice box. Well, I love the jokes with all my little juby, you know, a couple more days just a chill. But I man have a mountain of bills. See, I'll be up on the picture where I show mama them. If I did film me, everything would I say laugh.
You are a lion and you're born to be free.
Listen, people.
You miss the standard.
OJ singing. Sound just like him, father.
You got to come back.
Yo, foreign hard. The reality is, I'm a credit card, me have to go use it.
I guess like father, like son.
God.
Yes, the art of a lion make you miss down a yard. Miss down a yard. Miss down a yard. But life in a foreign just feel like fraud. Feel like fraud.
You had a real one, don't you know?
This is Cesar.
Took them for granted.
If you ain't never been lonely.
And you used up your chances.
DJ Kevin Stew, all manners and respect is you. How you are carry the music and the culture right through. Pick up yourself, Cesar says. Bless.
Yesterday, I cast my eyes upon your lovely face, but that was yesterday. Now just a dream that lives inside my memory. Wish it could be reality. Shine on, yesterday.
This is the former lead singer of the Drifters, Dave Revels. His rendition of Shine On.
Somehow let my dream come true. You know sometimes I stop and stare no matter where I am, thinking of you again. Once in a while I call your name out loud, hoping you'll hear, hoping my prayer will bring you here. Shine on, yesterday, carry me away and let me be back in your arms again. Shine on, yesterday, carry me away to be with you. Somehow let my dream come true. Shine on, yesterday, carry me away and let me be back in your arms again. Shine on, yesterday, carry me away and let me be back in your arms again. Shine on, yesterday, carry me away to be with you. Somehow let my dream shine on, yesterday.
There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world, you can hear the sound of lovers in love. You know what
Let me try to give you as much as I can, Merle.
and nobody else,
A little musical TLC for you.
nobody else, and I'm feeling good, just holding you tight. So listen very carefully, get closer now, and you will see what I mean. It isn't a dream. The only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you forever and ever. There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world, people just like us are falling in love. So listen very carefully, get closer now, and you will see what I mean. It isn't a dream. The only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you forever and ever. There's a kind of hush all over the world
Play the wife.
Time
Time for the husband.
Hi, this is Ed Robinson. And no matter what you're doing right now, stop it. Because guess what? Kevin Stew is at the control. Tune in, sing.
Some people are made for each other. Some people can love one another for life. How about us?
This is Ed Robinson's rendition of How About Us.
People can hold it together. Last all kind of weather. Tell me, can we? Ooh, yeah. Now don't you get me wrong. Cause I'm not trying now to end it all. It's not something, it's just that I've seen too many lovers' hearts lose their dream. Some people are made for each other. Some people can love one another for life. How about us? How about us, baby? Some people can hold it together. Last through all kind of weather. Can we? Can we? Oh. How we gonna make it, girl? How we gonna trip and drift together? Ooh, for each other, for life. How about us? How about us, baby? Some people can hold it down. Oh, yeah. How about us? Some people are made for each other. Some people can love one another for life. How about us? How about us, baby? Some people can hold it down. All kind of weather. How about us?
Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. You've been missing me around.
This is Neri.
Your body's here with me,
You know the tune.
it's on the other side of town. You've been missing.
As a friend of mine calls him Mary Neri.
I thought you told me you straightened out your life when we agreed to try one more time. It'll be my job to work and protect you, and we would make our whole life sublime. But I keep hearing you crying at the midnight, while the whole world
your mind is on the other side of town. You'll be missing me around.
Hey, cuz my next track, especially for you.
But your mind is on.
But everybody else don't feel left out here.
All over town. You'll be missing me around.
Of course, it will get better.
This is the Twiggerific one. Twiggy.
Pray upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up.
The track is called Don't Give Up.
Pray upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever
And this is the last message that I'm leaving with y'all with tonight.
play with it. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
You gotta know some talent. You never borrow it, no money spent. Can't get you one, tell them don't even try. And then better go repent. Live your life as it was ordained. It will be something that but most time rain. Easier said than done when you're the one who is feeling the pain. So you have to pray upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. I am begging you to stay upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up.
And that's the word. Don't give up.
Throw in the towel.
No matter what.
Cause one day you're gonna end up
As we part company right now,
be the victor too.
I do encourage you to look out for members of your community. Your community is not just a development that you live in.
I'm talking to
It spreads far and wide.
your reward with
Those that you pass on the bus, the plane, the boat, the train, or they walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow.
you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit,
My name is Kevin Stew,
play with it. Don't
so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you.
stay upon
One
it.
of those Tuesdays, Wednesdays, community and finance, healthy love, and this real talk. The night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com and affiliates.
Shoop, shoop, shooby-dooby-doo. The wagon is and we run come follow you.
Remember Saturday,
For everything
it starts off.
in favor your hard work will bring. Yeah.
Well, I start off with you at 3. But on Reggae Global Radio, it's every day at 24/7.
Hey, it's now time to win. Turn up,
But do remember,
back down,
reason was right again, 3 p.m. Saturday.
pray upon it. Don't
Saturday Stew, yours truly,
forget,
8 p.m. on Reggae Global Radio.
cannot play with it. Don't give up. When you want it,
Don't give up.
pray upon it.
Stay right there on it.
Don't you ever walk away from
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you all a good night. Take care, be good. If you can't be good at it. I'm out of here.
Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.